Step into almost any old-school boxing gym, and the first thing you'll see is a novice swinging wildly at a heavy bag. They are pouring every ounce of energy into massive, uncoordinated strikes, gasping for air within seconds, while the bag barely moves. This is the brute force fallacy. It thrives on a pervasive gym myth that raw muscle mass and unrefined aggression are the primary keys to winning a fight, despite the rapid fatigue they cause. These spaces also harbor the toughness myth, a dangerous tradition where coaches deliberately starve their athletes of water during training, convinced that severe dehydration builds a champion's mental fortitude. The medical reality is that these ego-driven traditions completely ignore human biomechanics. They cap a fighter's athletic potential and, in the most extreme cases, actively invite severe brain trauma. For a modern practitioner, the greatest enemy isn't the opponent in the ring. It is the stubborn, anti-science culture thriving inside their own training environment. Chris Eubank Sr. was a unified world champion who famously dominated the sport as its most meticulously self-styled, theatrical villain. He created a striking contrast to the brutal reality of the ring by embracing an eccentric, aristocratic aesthetic. He was a creature of irony, a terrifying ring presence who dressed like an English country gentleman. Eubank established what he called the warrior code, a philosophical framework built on superior behavior. He refused to swear, drink in public, or use bad language, utilizing a Shakespearean delivery to dismantle dangerous gym habits with the application of reason. Because this aristocratic authority was backed by a real-world commitment to discipline, it shifted the social hierarchy of the gym. It framed physiological mandates and safety protocols as matters of prestige, allowing even the most stubborn fighters to adopt medical science without feeling they were sacrificing their toughness. Relying purely on arm strength and muscle bulk is a biological flaw. It creates a sledgehammer effect that quickly depletes oxygen and leaves a fighter cutting themselves off at the knees. True punching power is a kinetic chain. Force transfers from the floor through rotating hips to the arm. This science debunks fears that weights make you stiff. Functional training enhances these muscles, building explosive speed without bulky mass. While a heavy bag is a stationary target, the erratic double-end bag is scientifically superior for training. It forces a fighter to use more energy to retract their arms when they miss, building accuracy and reflexes for a real match. A warrior optimizes the physics of their body. Mechanical efficiency is always more lethal than unrefined mass. Perhaps the most murderous myth in combat sports is the idea that extreme water restriction is a sign of mental strength. A dehydrated brain is compromised. Restricting fluids eliminates the cushioning effect of cerebrospinal fluid, leaving soft tissue vulnerable. Without that fluid barrier, any strike exponentially increases the risk of a lethal neurological collision against the skull. The physical consequences of this fluid depletion are captured in the 1991 title fight between Chris Eubank and Michael Watson. After taking massive impact in the final rounds, Watson collapsed. He suffered near-fatal brain injuries and spent 40 days in a coma. This tragedy became the emotional core of the Eubank philosophy. It transformed Eubank into a lifelong advocate for neurological safety and the strict medical protocols that define the modern sport. Prioritizing neurological safety over the ego of a weight cut is the ultimate test of a fighter's true professionalism. You see this same struggle between ego and science in the stool myth, the tradition of standing between rounds simply to intimidate an opponent. Physiologically, sitting down is a necessity. It enables rapid heart rate recovery and allows the corner to address facial damage or leg cramps, ensuring the fighter is prepared for the next round. Eubank's warrior code dictates that true power requires submitting to biological reason. You sit because logic demands it for victory, ignoring the fragile ego that wants to look tough while your heart is redlining. Boxing is the sweet science, an architectural discipline of composure and strict adherence to evidence. True toughness is not about taking unnecessary damage. The smartest, most scientifically grounded fighter is always the most dangerous person in the room.